And hi again, it's me, Shangri-La. This is, for those of you that are new, I am basically charting my weight odyssey is what I'm calling it. I'm not calling it a journey, it's an odyssey because the destination is not the final thing. I'm just trying to do a lifestyle change as most people are nowadays. And I find that I was feeling okay with the way I was, but there were like certain small things that were bothering me about my weight and just the way I presented to society. And so I decided I wanted and needed to make a change. So I started, this is week 2, which is great. So I'm doing like a combination of like Keto-vore and Carnivore, because I have decided that with carbs, the way that my body is processing them is that they turn into sugar just way too fast, and insulin's job is to move sugar out of the bloodstream, and if it can't move it out of the bloodstream, it then stores it as fat. So insulin is our fat storage system, and so I'm trying to decrease the amount of insulin that is floating around in my system every day. And so by doing that, I have to decrease the amount of carbs that I'm intaking. So with the Keto-vore type lifestyle that I'm living now, is basically I'm trying to do say between 5 and 10 percentage of carbs per day. Most of my diet is coming from fat and protein. So I do tend to, sometimes I think I have a very unhealthy relationship with food. So I'm trying to use it more now. I'm thinking of it as medicine and not being a sugar addict, because I label myself a recovering sugar addict, because that's what I am. I'm a recovering addict. So every time I get that craving about, oh God, I wish I could have I want some crisps, or I'm thinking about baking a cake, or I'm thinking about cookies or whatever. I'm like, okay, sugar addict, you're at it again. It's just like a heroin thing. Once you come off of it, you start like, I gotta have it, and you're looking for your fix anywhere you can get it. So with me, at least with having more fat and protein in my diet, I find that I am not as willing to like entertain thoughts of carbs. And if I do want, like, call myself having a little treat, I've been having about between 25 and 50 grams of blackberries, because they don't contain as much sugar. And I find that I'm okay with that. So if I have like those 3 blackberries and maybe some herbal tea, because I drink all my tea without sugar, it's just something that part I've always done, which, thank God, is a habit with me, and that's absolutely fine. But I'm not one for like real sugary drinks, so I'm not a soda person. And as far as like Gatorade and all that other crap, I don't drink that. I never have, so that's never been an issue with me. I know sometimes I feel like I want a slice of bread or something like that, and what I'm trying to do is that if I know that that's something that I think I may want, I have to try to figure out the best way to include it in my diet without going over my total carbs. So I did find this bread that's like thin sliced, because unfortunately I'm a white bread girl. I'm not one for wanting to do all that wheat and all that other crap. So I just want like a rustic white bread, and there was one that's like really thin sliced, and it's like 2 grams of carbs per slice. So I'm like, well, I only need 1 slice because I just need to cut it in half and slap whatever sandwich fixings I want on it. But that's not something that I want all the time. So it's like I've had bread in my refrigerator that's literally lasted like 3 months, and I'm like, okay, I know I cannot eat that now. It's been in there 3 months, and it's still looks okay and fresh. I'm like, sister girl, you need to get rid of her right now, because that is not that's not what we're doing. And so at that point, you know that either that bread has too many preservatives in it, because it's been in the refrigerator for 3 months and no mold, no nothing. It's just sitting there just as pristine as the day you put it in there. Maybe the only difference is that it's not as moist. So I wish that they sold like bread, things like that, in like half loaves, but unfortunately they don't. So I either wind up just trashing it. Some people freeze bread. I'm not a real freezer kind of thaw out person when it comes to like baked goods. So and it's not something that I have all the time. So I'm really just trying not to have it like in these first 30 days, because I really am trying to detox, because that's the whole point of me starting out the 30 days with just trying to get my cravings and I'm scratching my nose because I have been in a cleaning frenzy this morning, and I went to my bathroom and my blind, literally I pulled the cord to like lift the blinds up, and the whole thing fell down because me, Miss Fix It All, when I first moved here, all the windows were naked, and so I decided I wanted to put up a blind, and I did, and I didn't do such a good job, and I had to get a new drill. And my drill, I lost the direction, so I couldn't remember what the numbers around the around where you affix the like the drill bits and things like that. I couldn't figure out what those numbers were, and I kept trying to remember, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's torque. And I had it down, I had it like on 3. I'm like, no, I need to drill, I need to like push these bits in with like as little weight that I need to put on the drill as possible. So I cranked it all the way up to 10. I remeasured my window. I cleaned the blind, and then I just put, you know, new holes in it. And instead of putting 1 screw, because it said 4, so I'm like, no, I think 4 is like just doing double duty. So I did 2 in opposite corners when I put up the braces for it, and it looks so much better now. And I'm like, oh my God, and it's up there and it's safe, and I don't have to worry about, you know, trying to jerry rig it, making sure I don't like, you know, pull too hard on the cord. It's up there, and it's up there for good. So I was really, really happy about that. And I've just kind of like been doing this and doing that. I've been all over the place. I feel like my brain was just like going. And the great thing is that I've been using my, and getting back to weight loss, because I'm like a magpie. My brain just kind of goes, and then I start thinking about something else, start talking about other things. But I have been using my Keto Mojo to make sure that I'm staying in a ketogenic state. So when I checked it, it's like for the last 14 days, I've been in ketosis. I got up this morning when I checked my blood sugar and my ketones. I'm like, oh, I am only like 0.5 ketones. I'm like, what did I have yesterday that threw me out? Because I've been eating like mostly 16/8, sometimes 20/24, my fasting periods. And it's not hard for me because I have always been a person that I've never like been a breakfast person. So I wasn't one to like want to eat breakfast all the time. So I've like been skipping breakfast. Sometimes I eat, the first thing I eat is like around 1 or 2 o'clock, sometimes 3, depending on, because I do work from home. So it kind of depends on how my work schedule is going. And so I did that, and it's been working out. But I got on the scale this morning because that first week I was hopping on the scale every day, and it's like I was losing a pound. And then I hopped on the scale today, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, it says 3 pounds I gained. I'm like, wait, just the holy, you know what? Hello Kitty, what the is happening? And so then I had to sit down and I had to think about it. I said, you know what? Because I was really fiending for some ice cream, because I'm an ice cream girl. I love ice cream and cake, but I didn't want to do any cake. I didn't want to do like the keto cakes and things like that. But I did find this ice cream. It's I was watching some YouTube Keto Connection, I think that's the name of the program, and they were testing ice creams, and so there was one called Enlighten, and I love butter pecan. So I said, oh, and that only has 1 gram of carbs in it. So I had that yesterday, and I had less than a serving. And when I got on that scale and I saw 3 pounds, I said, oh no, I got to let her go. Let me let her sit there in the freezer for the next couple of months until I kind of get myself into a real good rhythm, and I can have what they call a cheat day. Although I don't want to call them cheat days. I just think that sometimes your body is craving certain things, and if they're healthy for you, or if you feel like, you know, you're under control enough to where you can just have a little, then, you know, by all means, do what you do. But I know for me, I'm an addict. I'm a recovering sugar addict. So I need to really kind of curtail that right now, and concentrate more on my fat and protein. So for the next, I'm going to say, until I'm going to look again at the way that my eating is affecting me, because I am keeping I'm keeping a diary in MyFitnessPal, which everybody is using, and it's a real simple program to use, and it's free. So MyFitnessPal does work wonders. So I use MyFitnessPal in conjunction with the Keto Mojo. You don't need these things, but for me, I think they're more or less just kind of giving me an idea of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And as weight and blood sugars are up and down every day. I mean, 1 minute you could be, you know, what you consider like a normal range or a healthy range for keto, and then the next minute it's like it's up. So I'm really trying not to get excited about when I get on a scale if there's like some weight fluctuations, even with my blood sugar fluctuating. I'm trying to really just kind of reel myself in and not get anxious and have my cortisol going through the roof, adding on to the weight and other things like that. So I am really trying to be better about that, and just thinking that this is a process. I didn't gain it overnight. I'm not going to lose it overnight. So I just need to really just be gentle with myself. And I think we all do. And also, sidetrack, Primal 7. I bought this little, this kind of indoor gym fitness thing on accident, and it was $259 accident, but it sat in the box for about 3 months. And I looked at it last night. I said, you know what? Okay, let me see how this works, because my gym membership, I haven't been able to get to the gym. So, and I'm a little afraid of going to the gym, because as I said, I live here in California, so COVID is running rampant, because people are just acting like it's, it's the free all, do whatever you want. And I feel like this, yes, you do have, right to do whatever you want to do, but I also have a right to live, and I have a right for you not to infringe upon my rights. So people have just not been very, I would say, COVID aware. They're just kind of wanting to do their own thing. So with that said, I pulled out the Primal 7 last night. I said, you know what, let me see. So my favorite, my friend YouTube, I went on there and I just kind of looked at the beginner's guide of how to use it, because it doesn't come with any instructions inside the box. So I kind of hooked it all up, and I'm like, okay, so, and I like it because I'm able to squat without my back or my knees hurting. I'm able to do a push-up because I had rotator cuff surgery. So it's important for me to like build strength up in my back and in my arms, so that I can get back out to the archery range, because I really, really miss being out there shooting my arrows, and just, it's a real good stress reliever for me being out on the archery range. So I'm trying to get myself back in shape so I can do that. And Primal 7 is actually helping. So like last night, I did a few exercises. Today, I'm gonna do a little stretching and do a few more exercises. And I said, so every day, I'm just gonna leave it up, because it's connected to my door. I don't need to do anything but just close the door and lock it, and it's hooked up. And all I have to do is just, get myself in alignment and do my exercises. So hopefully that will help with some of it, because I know they say with keto, you really don't have to do any exercises to lose weight. And I do believe that is a true statement. I believe that a lot of it does come from diet, because as long as you're in a calorie deficit, whatever the hell a calorie is, because all calories are not the same. So as long as you are expending more energy than the energy that you are putting into your body, I think you will lose weight. And as long as that energy is not totally made up of the macronutrients of carbohydrates, that more of your macronutrients are coming from fats and proteins, which are excellent, because your body can run on them. There's no carbohydrate that's necessary in your body in order for it to function. You do make the carbs that you need. Your liver does that. So you consuming extra carbs is not necessary. So with that said, I am going to stay on my Keto-vore journey, and I'm going to, for myself, I'm just gonna every week eat, because I know nobody looks at this channel, and that's totally fine, because this is just for me. It is like a diary instead of me writing, because sometimes I can be a little bit lazy about writing, but it's more of a video diary for me to keep track of my progress and see how I'm going, and see how I'm feeling every week. Because working from home, you're here, it's pretty sedentary, and there's nobody really to talk to. So at least with me doing my YouTube channel, I can look at me and discuss what I want to discuss, and not feel like, oh my God, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing that right. I'm just basically doing what's right for my body. And I'm trying to, if there's things that I come across that, I feel like, oh, that really helped me, just maybe if anybody does ever watch this channel as far as weight loss, maybe some of those things will help them too. But it is Saturday afternoon, and I have decided what I'm gonna do. I pulled out my camera, because I was in the photography too for a while. So I'm gonna pull my camera out, and maybe, just maybe, I can take a few shots from my back porch for some interesting thing to see how, if my shutterbug hits me again, and I can get out and start doing some more of that stuff, and maybe just get a new camera, because the camera that I have, my Canon Rebel T1, is so old, but I mean, she still works. So I'm thinking about getting a new camera just for YouTube, but I'll see how that works out. I mean, it may not be until the end of the year, because like everybody else, I need to save some money. And one other thing I forgot to tell you, during the weight loss thing, what I'm doing now is I'm also wearing waist beads. So I mean, there's been a lot of stuff on YouTube about waist beads. So for me, it's like I made them, I didn't purchase them. And there's lots of information on YouTube about how to make them. So I made myself a set of 3. One that's kind of a little bit lower than, a little bit above my navel, one that's kind of mid, and one that's kind of high. So as I start to lose weight, the beads will start to drop, and then I'll be able to like really keep an eye on my weight, and it helps. So gaining weight, if you start gaining weight, your beads start riding up and they start getting a little tight, so you know, okay, no, you need to do something about it. I think that has been during my whole journey as being an adult, and with weight, I have worn clothes that are either if I wear dresses, because I'm a dress girl, I'm a girly girl, I love dresses and gloves and, you know, that kind of thing. I love 50s clothes. So I sew a lot of that, but I find that when I wear jeans, it's, and I only have one pair, so it's not like I'm wearing jeans every day, but it's usually like workout clothes, because they are so elastic, you don't really notice how much weight you're gaining or losing, because it's like, you know, that elastic and spandex just kind of gives with you. So with the waist beads, it does help, because I took a picture of where my waist beads were when I first started, and then I took another picture of where my waist beads are now. And I have a little surgical site that when I had my gallbladder removed last year, that site is where my beads were, but now it's like dropped down an inch below that. So I said, okay, I'm losing inches. Even if I'm not showing it on the scale, at least I can look at my beads and show that I'm losing inches. So that kind of helps you mentally too. So I'm really, really happy about that. Well, now that I have run my mouth enough, I am going to get back to my little creative process. So, I mean, here are my like card making supplies. So I'm gonna get off, and I'm gonna probably do a little bit of painting today, because I feel like I want to just do a card facade, a front facade. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to also try to start using up my fabric, making coin purses and some clutch bags, like for makeup and things like that. So hopefully I will have a few of them completed, so I can kind of give you a yoo-hoo next week and let you kind of take a look at them and see them and tell me what you think. So until then, I hope everybody's having a fabulous weekend. I hope you're staying safe and your family is safe. And until next week, take care. Bye-bye.